Didn't follow as closely as I would have liked to,
Yeah.
but
So
I
good.
I stayed up and I checked in and I got a handle on it. There's just a lot of names I just wasn't. I thought I'd studied up better than I had. I guess maybe
Yeah.
I don't know.
My best, I'm going to do the Wizards in the Westbrook trade. My
Dokie.
worst, I'm going to do Kings. Just Kingsing around. And then we can just kind of
Kings and
goof off.
around, kings and around.
I was actually pulling up.
Oh my god. I had so
Ab,
many meetings today I had to cancel. It was fucking disaster.
that sounds no fun.
It was so bad. Like meetings with like heroes of mine.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A lot. My car battery died because I'm an idiot, and then I didn't really get locked out of my house. Our front door broke.
Oh,
We could not get in.
let's see. Yeah, so we're just doing like this is funny. I got to do like Grizzlies ad reads for this show.
I bet.
But I mean, it's like we're doing them for season tickets.
Yeah.
All right, let's record. I'm thinking because this is not second nature yet. Checking one. All right. Here we go. All right, and welcome to Fast Break Breakfast NBA podcast. My name is Keith Parrish, here right now with John Burr. A little bit later, Joey Devine from the Round Ball Rock podcast will be
Joey
joining
Bing
me.
Bong.
What is up, John Burr? This is NBA Draft Night, a very exciting night. It is still washing over us. We're in the middle of the second round. As
Still
we talk
happening
right now. That's right.
But if I was confused during the first round, the second round is an act of hopelessness that I'm hitherto not going to attempt.
Yeah, tonight's episode is going to be a little bit different from a regular episode just because we had to react. We can't record before the draft. And with all this happening live, just to react to some of the few things, maybe the broad strokes we've seen for both of us. Obviously, we were excited with the Grizzlies. We're excited with the Grizzlies getting involved.
But let's no longer excited.
Let's do some steak and eggs. Let's do some cream of wheats. You tell me your best thing. I'll do my best thing. Again, broad strokes for the entire league, what we've seen on this fun draft day. So, John, what's your steak and eggs from draft night 2021?
So, for me, the best thing is I felt like we kind of had a reinsertion of drama and mystique into the proceedings, perhaps with COVID sort of building a further barrier between media and Monolith. I think teams did a much better job of like hiding their picks, etc. I may be way off, but it feels to me like I was surprised many times during the course of the first round, and not just by the Grizzlies drafting only players whose name I cannot spell nor pronounce, but
one or the other. Yeah,
I was really like, from the Kings taking Devine Mitchell to the kind of bombshell in the first, 4 picks to just a lot of players going places that I didn't think we'd expect, like Josh Primo.
Yeah, the mock drafts were wrong is the big takeaway.
And that's fun.
And you as a television man, you appreciated the drama, the added intrigue.
Right.
This is not the straight whatever lottery we've seen. And we never know.
We couldn't have, we probably experienced this in diametrically opposed ways.
Yeah, I was fully immersed with multiple screens, although technically one of my TV screens was on USA versus Qatar CONCACAF Gold Cup. I had that on one of my screens, but I had multiple devices in front of me with the tweet deck. I couldn't figure out which screens to watch. Actually, there were so many. So John, there were so many broadcasts. I started on ESPN, and I couldn't handle Kendrick Perkins. And I'm not accustomed to listening to the commentators. TV. So I listened for a while. Then I discovered it was also on ABC. I had no idea. So then I switched it over to ABC. Then they told a story about a baby dying in a fire. And I was like, listen, I can't handle the mainstream emotional appeal stories. Like, that's not for me either.
Oh, man, I was going through it too. I had to watch, Rex Chapman and just think about, listen to that Percocet smooth voice and think about all he's been through with every syllable he uttered. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's just
I did that
human
too.
emotion
So,
everywhere.
Yeah, I was bouncing around. I couldn't find quite the broadcast. But what was your experience? I know you were pretty busy tonight, but you're keeping an eye on it.
So I did it while working, but I just have a TV, or I actually have a second monitor right here, and I just had NBA TV, and that's it. I didn't even do Slack because, this is a plug for our Patreon only Slack chat. Because it was overwhelming.
Yeah.
Every time I checked, it was 300 plus messages, and I didn't really want to come in and do my Uncle Grandma, what in the hell, what's going on here?
Yeah, you don't want to be Donnie,
so I just kind of
experienced conversation.
It. Yeah, I kind of just experienced it, kind of the old ways.
Yeah,
but it was pretty fun. Like I got lost a few times, but I had my my phone would tell me when Grizzlies did things, and I felt like the drama people reacted in a way, and you have the ESPN like da type production to let me know when something's happening. So I honestly feel like I couldn't have experienced it a better way, like perfect way for me to take it in. But I understand that for some fans, the like quad screen, full immersion thing might be better. And like I could see that being fun for a different draft than this year's.
Yeah.
Because if you're a Grizzlies fan, I feel like that was much ado about nothing, at least as far as having any real bang for your buck, because there's just no way to tell with these picks.
That's my take as someone who doesn't study the draft or know anything about the prospects. This year, I closely studied the draft. And if it was just the group think, I don't want to take away from all the work that like the draft people do and like they're scouting and they're coming up with their boards, but you got to be pretty bold to break away from what everyone else is saying. Like you see a guy like John Hollinger who has nothing left to prove.
This was Hollinger as hell.
But I mean, he makes his big board and he's like, yeah, Şengün's third on my big board, or whatever. Everyone else, if you compare a bunch of the major sites, they were all so similar. And then what actually happened tonight was not. Like I had a hunch that the bettors were going to lose on that Jalen Suggs. I think he closed at like minus 800 to be picked fourth or something. And I was like, that's Vegas is winning that one.
I heard rumors about Scotty Barnes. Who's one of the few players I know a lot about. And now question everything since Masai likes him, and I just do not understand. And then my other thing that I actually got right is I wonder if this played into some of the Grizzlies' actions. I felt like Josh Giddey was going to go earlier than projected, and he did.
Yeah.
And I wondered if the Grizzlies if that was a target. Although, if you're going, we should go ahead and say it. The Grizzlies took Zaire Williams, trading up to 10.
Oh, I assumed everyone already knew it, but yes.
If I don't think we were going to get him where he was, I think we needed to get up probably ahead of like the Pacers or the Spurs to get him. So
I think the thing that was kind of upsetting as a Grizzlies fan, we're riding with that belief that in previous mock drafts, Zaire Williams was available at 17. And so then when you get up at 10 and you're thinking, okay, Giddey or Wagner or Moses Moody or something. And then when a guy like James Bouknight slid and you had Bouknight available, you had Moses Moody available, it was one of those things where like, oh, are we going to get one of those guys? We didn't even think we'd get one of these guys type of thing. And then to end up with the guy that initially weeks ago had been penciled in at 17, it was like, oh, well.
Yeah.
From a level of ignorance of not having seen Zaire Williams play, it's like, it's a little disappointing, a little underwhelming.
Both picks are the equivalent of trade blue balls because it's like we might have been able to do nothing and have those guys in both instances. But both times we are reacting to something that we don't even know is going to happen.
So Jeremy Wu from Sports Illustrated says that the Grizzlies were pretty sure the Thunder wanted to get Santi Aldama. I don't know. How would I know how his name is said?
Yeah, I heard the same thing.
And so, like, then the Grizzlies felt like they needed to move up. I mean, you give kudos to the Grizzlies.
But I mean, I love his filmmaking, but I don't know if John Woo knows that.
Yeah,
I don't know that.
Please,
So everything's very murky now, and I don't want to sound like libertarian, but it's murky. I don't know whether to trust the sources anymore.
No, I say it's just a good job with the Grizzlies 2 years in a row, being able to move into the back of the first round by only trading away future second round picks. They didn't have to trade future first. That also reminds me of the time. It also reminds me of the time that Chris Wallace, when journalists were pressing him on why they didn't trade Tyreek Evans for anything, he was like, we weren't getting valuable second round picks. Second round picks are just currency. It's like the John Wick movies, that one coin. It's the one coin you use to buy everything. And so, they used that currency to get
a blood smeared Tony Roten.
Exactly. So you get the guy that no one really knew a ton about or weren't expecting, Santi Aldama. The question is he going to join the roster even this year? But then going back to Zaire Williams with the 10th pick, we will never know if the Grizzlies made this trade to 10 hoping to get Giddey or hoping to get, Wagner. Like if those guys were both gone, then it's like, what do you do?
The Zaire Williams pick, that is the type of pick that I appreciate because to me it is a big swing pick.
Yeah.
Because that guy was supposed to be, this was one of the random guys we chose in our game of scones last week. He was supposed to be something.
Right.
Now, I watch the two, there are 3 conferences in basketball that I watch quite a bit of. The Big 12, West Coast basketball, all of those conferences actually. And then I watch some SEC. Zaire Williams sucked.
Right.
But if it makes you feel better, James Bouknight sucked. Like the best player out of this group that I saw was Franz Wagner, and he's a white guy. So I'm not going to get too upset about this. At least Zaire Williams was supposed to be fantastic. There's not a lot to take here. But if it's going to be in this, and Davion Mitchell's right there, like Davion Mitchell was nothing and then exploded this year for Baylor, which was the most stacked team in the nation.
Well, also,
so like, why not take the guy who's like, was supposed to be something, and this was one of the weirdest years in sports history. Maybe he just couldn't get it together.
Or like the Davion Mitchell thing. I mean, obviously the Kings took him, and then the Bouknight issue. It's like, well, how does he fit exactly specifically on the Grizzlies? Like besides Ja Morant, is he going to become a 6-man scorer? And so they swing for the guy who has the frame and the size and the athleticism on the wing. But enough about the Grizzlies, enough about the drama of the goodness. My steak and eggs, my best thing from this draft night. It isn't even really draft related. I got to give some kudos to the Washington Wizards. They moved on from Russell Westbrook. They traded Russell Westbrook to the Lakers like we thought was going to happen. This is now an annual summertime occurrence of Russell Westbrook getting traded. It's always fun, always exciting. I don't know how it's going to work out for the Lakers.
Let's keep this going and put him on a different team every single year.
Him and Chris Paul need to change teams every year.
I think it works.
Bouncing them around makes the league more entertaining.
We should make a rule outside of Ja Morant. Or let's do it this way because I am enjoying the LaMelo Hornets experience. If your point guard is under the age of 30, they can stay. Once you're over the age of 30, you have to start moving about. You can't play with the same team.
I would say as long as you have changed teams before. If you're one of those guys who's been on the same team your whole career.
Oh, that's a good point.
We don't need to break that up.
That's a good point.
No, the Wizards, who were somewhat criticized last year for trading a pick to get Russell Westbrook, in that John Wall deal. But we liked it because they got rid of John Wall. And then there was a brief moment early in the season. You're like, John Wall looks okay and Russell Westbrook looks bad. But then it turned around. They made the playoffs. They did their little thing this year. Now they've gotten rid of him and they've basically turned him into very movable, tradable, usable pieces. Like Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Kyle Kuzma alongside Bradley Beal make just as much sense as Russell Westbrook.
Okay, we make fun of these players a lot. KCP has 2 years running been the Lakers' third most important playoffs player.
Yeah. And
Kyle Kuzma, again, I watch a ton of West Coast basketball. Kyle Kuzma was good last year.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand. I love to make the Kuzma jokes as well, but those are all contextual in the fact that he was untouchable when his betters got traded. But Kyle Kuzma was good last year. KCP is a useful player. Russell Westbrook doesn't fit in with most teams. I actually think with the Lakers, totally fine. like kind of exactly what the Lakers needed. They needed instant offense. They're one of the best defensive teams, but their offense could be completely useless at times. I think this might work, but for the Wizards, they probably could have ended up getting almost nothing for Westbrook, and they got useful stuff.
They also got a pick. They got this guy, Isaiah Jackson, the 22nd pick. Although I think they traded him. I might need to track that down. He ended up
he's
on
the
Pacers.
Lakers. Nope. Let's see.
No, the Lakers took him, traded him to the Wizards, and then the Wizards traded him to the Pacers. God. And the Wizards got Aaron Holiday and a bunch of and the 31st pick.
All I see is that the Rockets had all the picks. Now that I'm looking.
Oh yeah, the Rockets had every first round pick, but the Wizards turning this Russell Westbrook into like positive assets. I mean, I think there's some skills overlap between Kuzma and Hachimura, but they're both good players and they both have size. They can both fit together. And so like, I think the Wizards did like a really nice job. Even if they don't trade Bradley Beal, like they're equipped to be as competitive as they were.
What do you make of the reports that Beal is staying? Do you think that's just nonsense? Like I should put nothing into it?
I mean, I don't know. I think it would make sense for them to trade him if they got a massive, huge offer, but there aren't that many teams out there right now who could even put together such an offer. Like the Pelicans aren't apparently going to use their draft capital to do it, and they don't really have young players you'd want to send out unless you'd want to do like a Brandon Ingram and a lot of picks for Bradley Beal or a few picks. The Thunder just keep kicking the can down the road. They're never trading their picks. One of the funniest things of the draft tonight was the Thunder traded for more future picks. Like they're finally supposed to use their picks. They're like, no, let's trade it for a future pick. Let's just.
I kind of love it.
I do, man. You will never ever get fired as long as your GM can keep telling people.
I kind of love it, and like every single Thunder pick is like, damn, I wish the Grizzlies had picked that guy.
But man, good job, Washington
Trey,
Wizards.
Man, God.
Although Sengun's on the Rockets, don't be confused.
Too many trades. So the Rockets ended up with Sengun.
Rockets guy,
Garuba.
The Rockets did everything. The Rockets, who head of scouting is now our former boy Chris Wallace.
Yeah.
The Rockets did this draft as if they were playing NBA 2K and just took the highest rated player who was falling.
Shoveling spaghetti into their mouths.
About this, but like, all right, Jalen Green, that seems awesome. But then it's like Sengun, how does he work with Christian Wood? And then you get Garuba too. Who was the fourth guy they got? Oh, they got Josh Christopher. I'm trying to imagine the locker room. Like Josh Christopher, Sengun, not a lot in common. Kevin Porter Jr. and Sengun. Sengun speaks no English. Like I'm trying to imagine Kevin Porter Jr. being like, "Hey, I rented a van. We're going to the club that we're not supposed to because of COVID protocols."
Is Kevin Porter Jr. even going to be on this team? This team is so insane to me.
The team is absolutely insane.
Where do I want that Jalen Green Rookie of the Year money right now?
I'm trying to think like a team adding 4 first rounders in one season feels rare. Maybe there's an obvious example I'm forgetting. I know there's been a lot of years like the Celtics added 3 first rounders where you get like Joe Forte and a bunch of other Joe Johnson and somebody else. But I'm trying to remember like actually getting 4 first rounders in one year feels kind of odd. But anyway,
it's amazing to look at this draft board and just see the Rockets' presence all throughout.
It's unbelievable.
The Rockets and the Thunder, I think, are 33% of this draft board.
Yeah. So that kind of wraps up my best thing, our steak and eggs. The opposite of that, we'll do some cream of wheat. What's the worst thing for you in this draft night, John?
Well, I know you probably don't want me to bring up the Grizzlies again, but I have to because for me, the night had this kind of pallor over it where I'm just horrified that the Grizzlies were going to make a move that involved losing a DeAnthony Melton or a Brandon Clark. Like I felt like it was coming, and I know the specter is not over yet. We're halfway through the second round, but for me, this was not a very, and that perhaps that's another reason, despite either that or a giant workload, that I kind of kept the draft at arm's length because I was afraid of it.
I'm with you. I was
your favorite players being taken away, or it's not fun to live through.
It's also funny as we speak right now, the 51st pick is happening, which is the Grizzlies' original pick. So there's still that mental confusion when you look at the TV. It's like the Grizzlies are picking. You're like, no, the Grizzlies.
We went from 51st to 40th. Is that right?
And then 40th to 30th with that Jazz trade. But my fear tonight, my fear that I've specified on Grits and Grinds was I don't want to trade up. I honestly didn't want to trade up. I was like, right. I don't want to give up a future first. I don't want to give up Melton or Clark because I think those guys still have a lot of potential that I'm not sure about. And I'm with you. The night is young. These trades happen, after the draft is over. I still remember one of my earliest NBA draft memories. I remember logging on to, I guess it was AOL.com at like midnight. I don't know how many, 20 something years ago. And finding out that the Grizzlies, who had taken Matt Barnes in the second round, had traded the rights of Matt Barnes for Wesley Person. And Wesley Person was probably my favorite NBA player at the time.
War Eagle, baby.
War Eagle. I was so excited to find out on that dial-up internet that the Grizzlies got Wes Person. So
I still sort of have that type of relationship with my sports fandom where I just want my team to take a guy I've heard of.
Yeah.
And I had unfortunately heard of Zaire Williams. I cannot even pretend to have ever heard of Santa Claus Aldama, but let's go. Mark Gasol Part 2. Skinny Mark this time. Skinny Shark.
Let's do it. But I'm with you that I just nothing for me in this draft was worth trading up.
No.
And losing those young guys that you already knew were like role player contributors.
And guys that you're like, you don't feel like you've gotten the most out of yet. So you just, they become like your children.
Yeah.
And the prospect of losing your child for Jalen Suggs is just not something I was ready for.
Although everyone tells me, listen, if we got into the top 5, fine. If we got one of those Jalen Suggses or like the Evan Mobley, like the wild rumors were running a couple of days ago, okay. But don't
a guy compared readily and regularly to Joe Ingles, that ain't gonna do it for me.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. My worst thing, and then I'll have Joey Devine join us, and John, you can take the night off. My worst thing, just the Sacramento Kings, guys. First of all, I know you feel like you need to get rid of Buddy Hield because he doesn't want to be there. He's bad for the locker room. That's fine, but they'd worked out a trade. They'd even told Woj, "Hey, we have a trade with the Lakers," and Woj has to humiliate himself with a retraction.
Shams.
So Woj is like, this trade, it's going down, a lot of traction. We got Kuzma and Harrell going to the Kings for Buddy Hield. And honestly, that's a great trade for the Lakers. I think it makes a lot more sense than Russell Westbrook. But then it's like, nope, Russell Westbrook trade. I love to imagine LeBron had already worked out a deal and just hadn't told Pelinka that we have an agreement in place.
Had to have happened.
So somehow the Kings get left on the altar aren't able to make this trade, and now they still have the problems where they need to cut salary because they want to keep Rashawn Holmes. They're going to pay him a ridiculous amount of money, but they can't unless they lose some of their salary. So then they take that, and then we go to draft night, and I get the feeling they didn't have a firm plan. They take Davion Mitchell, who plays the same position as their two best players.
And Davion Mitchell, I don't know if you know this, Keith, he cannot shoot free throws and does not want to shoot free throws, so he does not have a floater or attack the rim ever.
So he had that.
I don't have any advanced stats on him, but I watched so much Baylor. He's just like a defensive stopper guy who plays around the mid-range. I mean, he's a good player. He's really intense, but in the NBA, you have to get to the rim or get to the line, and he doesn't either.
But the two players Kings fans are excited about, they're like, oh, we have Fox and Halliburton.
He's probably older than both of them.
Fox and Halliburton, and now they bring in Davion Mitchell with their 9th pick. Davion Mitchell is now asked after he gets drafted, hey, did you go work out for the Kings at all or have any meetings with them? And he said, I don't want to comment about all that.
Wow.
This guy never even spoke to the Kings. He didn't want to go. The thing we're supposed to infer with that, I believe, is he didn't want to go to the Kings. And they took a guy who plays a position they don't really have a need for. Kings.
They actually took the exact opposite of Buddy Hield. Like, because this guy's really great at D and like
Yeah.
team guy. And maybe that's just what they're going for. They took the antibody.
I mean, they already have DeLon Wright. Too. I mean, don't want to kick DeLon Wright out of the rotation. But anyway, he's probably going to be out of here.
Come on back to Memphis.
Yep. Well, speaking of, if you're in Memphis this weekend, dear listener, the sports and entertainment group and YouTube sensation Dude Perfect are bringing their Dude Perfect tour to the FedEx Forum on October 16th.
Dude Perfect.
So, hey, you get your shots. You and your boys get all vaxxed up. October 16th, FedEx Forum, Dude Perfect. Tickets are on sale right now at Ticketmaster.com or at the FedEx Forum box office. That's for all you listeners who are anywhere near Memphis. I'm sorry.
It's all right. We'll get better at that.
I'm gonna wrap that up just one second. So get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com or the FedEx Forum box office. Just had to get my cadence of voice right. Did you do your worst? I did my worst. You did your worst?
Yep.
Perfect. All right, John. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. Hopefully we don't lose any Grizzlies players before we wake up in the next morning, and you and I will spend all day tomorrow finding out who Santi Aldama is.
Give my best to Giuseppe. All right, see you, man.
All right, see you, buddy.
Look, I know NBA Twitter hates Kuminga or whatever, but I don't know. What if he's good?
That's the most fun about the draft.
Yeah, I mean, 3 months ago, people were like, this guy could be the number 1 pick, and they picked him 7, and then at 14, because the Kings and Pacers are insane, the Warriors got the guy I wanted them to take at 7.
Oh, that's the win.
So happy. Yeah, it's great. Did you hear Perk talking about Moses Moody, by the way? I have it here.
I did.
Well,
Look at Moses Moody.
Listen, I don't want to laugh too much, Joey. You and I are both in the business of communicating, and sometimes the mouth fails to work.
Sure. But still, it's hilarious.
Moses Moody's the guy that all Grizzlies fans wanted, and so I, not knowing anything about him, was just wary of him.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's like, "Oh, we got to get Moody. We traded up," and the Grizzlies fans were so crushed when they didn't draft Moody. And I'm like, I just got a bad feeling about that guy. And so then when the Warriors take him at 14, that makes me feel better. That means he actually sucks, right?
I mean, it's true. Year
2, Jordan Poole was all right.
Yeah, Jordan Poole was really good year 2. And Kevon Looney's been pretty good for being the 30th pick or whatever.
Pretty good for a guy they wish did not opt into his salary.
I mean, he's pretty good. He was really good in the against the Rockets in the conference finals 2 years in a row. So that was cool.
Yeah.
But
what was your draft night? How did you take in this draft?
I watched it with our mutual friend, one of the great NBA Twitter followers at Juice Manji.
Oh yeah.
One of the only good Laker fans. Yeah, I watched it at Juice Manji's new house. Julian Rodriguez. It was really nice. We ate some pizza. He was pumped. He's a Laker fan. He was actually pumped about the Westbrook trade.
Well, yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, look, if your choice is Dennis Schroeder or Russell Westbrook, no matter what you feel about analytics, at least one of them his teammates really like.
Yeah. No, the Westbrook to the Lakers thing, it doesn't seem like it's going to work, but the last time I was pretty sure all the players they added wouldn't work. They won the title. So, and then last year I was like, oh, those are some good additions, and it wasn't as good. So
yeah.
I can't make fun of the Lakers anymore. What was your take? I thought one of the funniest things of the draft was thinking about the Thunder, and I know I've spent a lot of my energy and efforts on Fastbreak Breakfast kind of making fun of the Thunder's decision to do the process a tad unnecessarily, in my opinion. And so I'm real cracked up at the idea that they shut down Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and they had Teo Maladon and Svi Mikhailuk put up -7 net rating, -70 net ratings for the season to end up with this guy Josh Giddey. Like, we did it. You did it all for Giddey?
Well, have you watched Josh Giddey's highlights, Keith, at all?
I've seen his highlight when he was 10 and he tried to dunk a basketball. That's the only one.
Well, I watched, because the Warriors had so many picks, I actually paid attention to the draft this year and watched every single like scouting video I could find on everybody. And what I will say about Josh Giddey is he's kind of, I would say, based on the highlights I've watched, I would say something like 60% of the passes he throws are really unnecessarily fancy over the head. Like Larry Bird style fancy passes, where it's like not fancy, but fancy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like he didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
Hey, I like a little unnecessary flair. I mean,
but that was also supposed to be Poku's thing, right? He was like a fancy passer who also was 7'5" or whatever. So I don't know what they're building there. It does feel like it does feel a little weird if I'm a Thunder fan that like, is Sam Presti just straight up addicted to future first round picks?
100%.
Because like
100%.
all of the analytics guys had like Sengun in their top 3, and he traded him for 2 future first round picks.
He's the guy who when his phone battery goes to 98 is hunting for the plug to get it back up to 100. He's like, I'm down to 16 future firsts. I gotta re-kick it up. The only thing that I thought was funnier was, again, to clarify, we don't know anything about these draft prospects. Maybe these people all did a great job.
Sure.
But the Knicks just choosing to not do anything, essentially. I
thought that was cool.
You thought it was fun? They're like, everyone's like, oh, the Knicks have 19 and 21. They might package it to move up. They're like, nah, now we're out.
No, we're out.
We're kicking it back. And then it's like, oh, we have the 32nd pick. No, we're dropping back. We don't want that one either.
I mean, that was funny. The funniest thing to me is that the Kings drafted another point guard. That is the funniest thing that happened in the draft.
Of course.
Like a guy who is 24 and 6 feet tall and possibly can't shoot. Like, they drafted to back up Fox and Halliburton, I guess.
Yeah, he's only 22. Let's not get carried away.
Okay, he'll be 23 though by the time the season starts.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And then they showed, the funniest thing was when they showed like the list of oldest people drafted with him. I was like, God, this would feel so bad.
I didn't see that. Who was the oldest people? Is it David Robinson?
It was the oldest lottery pick. So it was Epe Udo, Rafael Arujo, Wesley Johnson, and Davion Mitchell. And I'm just like, that's the first thing you're seeing on draft night as a Kings fan. That's so depressing.
Man. The one thing, like, I know second round picks don't pan out at all usually. But I do feel like some of them like seem like they actually kind of nailed it, which is, I guess, a ridiculous thing for me to say right now.
Like JT Thor.
Well, the JT Thor thing. Oh, the Hornets, just as a whole, the Hornets are so
great
exciting.
Draft from the Hornets.
I mean, great draft if, again, you're playing a video game and you're drafting just based
you just want
on
dunking
height and speed. The JT Thor and the Kai Jones pick.
Yeah.
Like
Kai Jones, JT Thor, and Book Knight. It's like they're just like, we want all of the dunks.
We want all the fun. I mean, that's like perfectly put together. This team was so fun last year, even with unbelievably unfun Gordon Hayward. They were still kind of cool. Miles Bridges, unbelievable athlete, very exciting to watch. And then obviously little Mellow Ball putting that all together, pulling the strings. It does seem like they've built this perfect off. Like, if it's a football team, you're like, you went and found the 2 perfect receivers. And like, someone who actually watches college basketball would tell you, like, hey, Kai Jones sucks. And hey, JT Thor averaged like 8 points per game off the bench. Like, he's like, these guys aren't good at basketball. yet, but it is fun. And and also they picked up Mason Plumlee. So they have a continuous
Another
flow
dunker.
of Plumlees and Zellers and Plumlee, just moving through there. But they needed a center. Zeller basically broke their hearts on the Woj pod by saying he was looking for a winning situation, more than money or playing time. So they needed a center, and they actually got to move up 20 picks in the second round.
Yeah,
just to take on Plumlee. I like everything they did there. But I was going to say, this guy Sharif Cooper, who
awesome.
The only thing I know
him.
about him is everyone whose opinion I trust on the draft is like, this guy's really good. He's gonna be really,
really good. I
good.
really liked Atlanta's draft. I liked both. I like both Jalen Johnson and Sharif Cooper a lot.
So
and again, I don't know anything. I've just watched YouTube
Hawks
videos,
just took
but
swings. I mean,
seems fun as hell.
I mean, they get a backup for Trey Young, Sharif Cooper. And then you get this guy, Jalen Johnson, who people thought was going to be a high lottery pick. They already have that Duke connection. The
best thing. Well, you know the best thing about Jalen Johnson, right? He told Coach K to F off so hard, Coach K retired. So he's a hero of man. You know what I mean? Like, he finally got that weird military vampire out of town.
What's your take on, I'm trying to figure out exactly what, oh, hang on. I lost what I was going to say.
That's okay.
That's fine.
I'll give takes. I got takes.
What are your takes? What's your take topic on?
I mean, this was a weird draft, right? Like, I don't think I've ever watched a draft where everyone's mocks were so wrong from 7 to 22.
Yeah.
Like, it really seemed like no one had any idea what was going on.
Do you think that everyone is just telling, does every team now have a person whose job it is just to feed, just be like, hey, tell Jake Fisher this is what we're doing.
Yeah,
and they all text the same thing, and they're like, oh, everyone has said this.
And for some reason, it was James Book night this year.
That's a weird one. Again, as a Grizzlies fan, all the mock drafts told me he was super good. So then when he's available there and you don't take him, you're like, well, no, I feel weird, but I wouldn't have felt weird if all these mock draft guys hadn't said I was supposed to take him.
I mean, look, that job is really hard. Guessing what Joe Lacob's gonna make Zaza Pachulia say in a meeting when they're voting on who to draft. But I don't think this is I've never seen them be this off. Josh Primo, everyone had it 22 or whatever, and the Spurs took him 13 or 12 or whatever.
12, yeah.
Yeah.
And also the Spurs don't have this extreme need for a smallish guard. That was also where I guess it was kind of surprising. Yeah, I feel like this year's the mock drafts had gotten so much consensus.
Right.
Where it felt like, oh, everyone's getting the same intel, and this must be what the draft is going to be this year. It's going to be very, very boring. We know what the first 12 picks are.
Yeah.
And it turned out we actually knew nothing.
We knew nothing. I guess it's important to know that it should always be, we should all just claim we know nothing always now, right?
I can't. So the other trades that I found very interesting today, one, Ricky Rubio was moved.
Well,
I don't really know
what
why.
They're doing there.
What are they doing?
They're bringing Rubio in to tell Kevin Love to change his face so they don't have to buy him out.
Change his face?
Do you remember? Do you not know that Ricky Rubio clip? There's a very incredible Ricky Rubio clip where he goes up to, he's mic'd up in a game, and it's young T-Wolves Ricky Rubio.
Oh,
and he walks up to Alexi Fed, and he goes, "Hey, Alexi, change your face, be happy," in the middle of a basketball game.
That's amazing.
Yeah. It's the
Kevin Love whisperer. They're trying to revamp the value. Man, they've gone to great measures to revamp Kevin Love's value this summer. They sent him to Team USA camp thinking that would revamp his
Dan
value.
Gilbert will do anything to save $30 million, so.
Yeah, I mean, I'm confused, a little bit confused by what the Timberwolves are doing. I thought maybe that opened up some things to like they would maybe get involved. I'm kind of hoping like that's like my dream Ben Simmons spot. I know they would never do it. Like that seems like a perfect spot.
But I mean, based on what it's being leaked that Daryl Morey is asking for Ben Simmons, like Malik Beasley and D'Angelo Russell aren't gonna do it, you know?
Yeah, I'm a little bummed by Daryl Morey demanding all these things.
I think it's cool. I think it's really incredible to watch like a man's brain be broken because he refuses to sell low on anything.
Well, it's amazing to see Daryl Morey, to see how obviously he was mailing it in a la Vince Carter on the Raptors. He signed Eric Gordon to a horrible contract for the Rockets. He then did the trade away of like he traded for Westbrook and then did the swap. I mean, he traded for Paul, swapped him away. Like he made so many horrible deals going out the door for the Rockets. And now that he's back in Philadelphia, he's like, I need 4 picks.
I need 4 first-round picks and Fred VanVleet and OG Anunoby for Ben Simmons.
I also noticed the Phoenix Suns traded out of the first round. I guess get
Landry Shamet.
Why do they need Landry Shamet?
Because they're gonna
not good.
But see, the thing is like, for some reason, there's like a hope that Landry Shamet will become Seth Curry, right? Like this will now be the 4th team that's tried it.
Yeah. All right.
The 4th good team that's tried it, and it's just not gonna happen.
This is 100% Robert Sarver saving a little bit of money. Like this is, they traded Javon Carter's salary, his salary matches Landry Shamet's almost perfectly, and then gave up a 1st-round pick.
Yeah.
Like, why in the world are they giving up? They drafted that, is it Daron Sharp? The very athletic center out of North Carolina, who apparently in all his workouts knocked down a bunch of 3-pointers. Like he never shot 3-pointers in college, but apparently in his workouts he could shoot. That sounds like the backup center you need behind DeAndre Ayton. You don't need Landry Shamet? Like it wouldn't like
you're Robert Sarver. You got to cut those. You have to extend Chris Paul and probably campaign, so got to save $2 million somewhere.
He was asked. Robert Sarver was specifically asked this morning something to the effect of, this is not an exact quote, something to the effect of, what will be the obstacles to re-signing Chris Paul? And he said, I certainly have no idea. I'm a little nervous for my Suns fans. You know, they had so much joy this year, so many good things, and now they're back to trading away 1st-round picks once again. What's one more thing you saw from the draft? You got anything else you want to wrap this up with that you were particularly amused by? Or
what was I amused by? I mean, I thought it was really funny that Sangoon's translator wasn't very good at speaking English.
Yeah, I actually was in that. I went on the actual Zoom link for media because I was like, I guess I should do this because I can do this now. And I went in and I watched a little bit of it. And the interpreter, the English was very, the English was very broken. Which
that's cool.
Turkish is a hard language, I guess.
Yeah.
I also, I'll tell you the best person, a guy who I made fun of before he was drafted just because he was old. But then I watched his Zoom and I fell in love with him, is Chris Duarte.
Yeah, I really liked Chris Duarte.
Like, everything he said, I was like, I'll join his army. I'll go fight.
Yeah, I was like,
he inspired me so much.
I wanted the Warriors to take Moody and Duarte.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm happy with Kuminga and Moody, obviously. But because I looked at Duarte and I was like, he's like shooter Juan Toscano Anderson. Hell yeah, let's do this. Yeah.
When you say
let's
it
bring
like
another
that,
one of these guys in.
You make it sound nice.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, Joey, I appreciate you coming on. We obviously,
of course, anytime.
We don't
congrats.
know.
Also, congrats on the
thanks,
big
man.
news.
Thanks, man.
I'm so happy to be on state-run media.
Yeah, this is state-run
no.
media, although we haven't told anyone. I'm actually having to bleep this out.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
Just- it's all good. No, Joey.
I was like, wait, there was a press release.
There was.
There were
a
quotes and
press
everything.
release that never said those quotes.
You were in. Actually, I have a question. You were in
Yeah.
Vans and stuff for a while,
Uh-huh.
right?
Yeah.
Is this your first real press release, or did you get press?
No,
those
this is definitely the realest press that's ever been
Yeah,
issued
yeah.
about me. Have you
Congrats,
ever had
bud.
very real press in your entertainment career?
God, no.
I mean, I've certainly been involved on like fake-ish press releases, but no,
yeah.
this is the first
I've
one
been
that
in
was,
fake press
that was
releases
actually
as
sent
well,
by a corporation that runs itself.
Yeah. To actual press. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Anyway, Joey, always appreciate it. Until the next time. See you, bud.
Bye, Keith.
All right, thanks, man.
Awesome, dude. I have my audio. Do you want it?
No, I think it actually.
Okay, cool.
Don't delete it or anything, but
Okay, I won't.
delete it tomorrow. What did I do here? All right, man. I'm hanging up. See you, buddy.
All right, later, Keith.